Right, okay. Jump straight in. Suicide Squad by David Ayer, 2016. Okay, so the first thing we see is the camera moving in across a lake towards some form of military-esque building we can make out, with House of the Rising Sun playing, which is quite a sort of New Orleans type music. So it's kind of, I don't know, kind of gangster-like. So like we see a wall with a picture of death drawn on it, with a snake, which would be like there at the moment, or underneath me, and a club slash spade. I don't really know what it's meant to be. It's something that you'd see on a playing card, down there, with something or other written on the bottom. It looks like it says Special Security Barracks, but I'm not really sure. The first word's kind of a bit blurred out, so I don't really know about that. And as we see that, a army truck comes past, which helps set the scene with it being some form of military-esque building, so that's pretty confirmed now. From the look of it and all the barbed wire and that, we can presume it's, well, a prison or, I don't know, some stronghold of some sort. First person we see being Deadshot, played by Will Smith. So, like, we can safely assume that this is either our antagonist, depending on how they're going to play it, or the protagonist. So, one of the first guards we see has simply B14 written on his, like, armour. So, first of all, one, it's assuming that it's not someone like, on the back it says B14, which shows that there is no identity to these people. So we can presume that they're not any key point to the plot, they're just prison guards, they're not going to keep coming up. Whereas later on we see that one of them has something different, so I'll say that in a minute. On the back it says ERT, which we can't be certain what this stands for, because we have no sort of introduction to who these people are, bar the fact that they're security. But we can assume at the same time that they're not FBI or SWAT, because they would have FBI or SWAT written on them. Next person we see, Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie. Song changes completely. It was House of the Rising Sun up to now, and now we've got You Don't Own Me by Leslie Gore. I don't like that song. It's just down here. So we've got that. That song more iconically sort of shows what this girl's like as a person, because it's saying you don't own me. So she's kind of an independent, sort of strong feminist woman, I guess. And then the next bit we see is her hanging from the top of her cage, like so she's doing that sort of weird circus rope cloth kind of weird trick. But the sun shines from behind her, so it's like, so the sun is there and she's there at the moment, I think. So yeah, the obvious connotation of having the sun sort of irradiating from behind her is that she's sort of some omniscient, like, well, angel type figure, which heavily is contradicted when we sort of get an up close like view of her. Her clothes are completely ripped. She's got burn after use written on her, which is either to, like, it could be seen to do with the clothes or could be seen to do with her, sort of depending on what way they want to look at it. She's also got a lot of tattoos, and on her face especially there's a heart here-ish, there, I don't know, it's one of the sides, with rotten written on it. So them two sort of as a whole sort of opposing each other, because hearts seem as nice and rotten obviously a bad thing. So yeah, there's kids walking past. Bye. Yeah. So yeah, the guard that I was talking about, you'll see him now underneath. He's got Alpha 01 written on it. This resembles it. He's like the alpha male of the group and the leader, so we'd guess someone who's a higher rank than the others. And because he's the only person who's spoken to all of the people so far, that's another point. We can, because it's the same people, we can tell that all of these well, the Suicide Squad, is in this one prison, kind of showing it how sort of secure this has got to be, because these are renowned villains. Like, they've got some form of superpower, except Harley Quinn, he's just insane. Yeah, she like is known to play as sort of like a damsel in distress, and she's kind of there sort of whimpering, sort of saying, feel sorry for me, come play with me. But one, she's very sexual in nature. She says a lot of things and does a lot of actions which promote sort of sex and that, so shows that she's maybe not as innocent as she's like first showing. And then also the guy says, you put 5 of my men in hospital. She's bad. Like, she's done something wrong, obviously, to be in this place, and sort of putting 5 men in prison, that's an accomplishment in a whole, I think. That's pretty cool. The next bit, we see her get shocked by the bars. Like, she's initially given a warning to stay away when she nicks it. Yeah, other sexual representations there, but she carries on holding onto the bars, so they electrocute her. She flies back, and it provokes some form of, I don't know, flashback. But the way they've done it, it's not. These kids. One sec. Bye. So. Yeah, it's a flashback. So most iconic flashbacks, they're all sort of like grayscale, is up, like it's quite a low sort of atmosphere to it, and it's usually been quite a bad experience. This, although it's a bad experience, has bright sort of hallucinogenic colours in it. It's like, it's blue. Now, it has got connotations to being sort of related to Harley Quinn, who has blue and pink sort of colour palette going for like making an outfit. But equally, it kind of shows sort of the excitement and the happiness behind this happening, sort of adding to the insanity that she has got going on in her brain. Yeah, when she comes back, we see her lying on the ground with the sort of bars of the cage from above sort of surrounding her, showing isolation and that she is confined to this one very small space all the time, and like she sleeps here and everything. Next, another change of song. It's now Something by the Rolling Stones. I'm going to check that. Okay, so it's Sympathy for the Devil by Rolling Stones. And this, once again, is quite an obvious connotation that the next person we're going to see has something to do with the devil, or is a bad character in some form of way. The first thing we see is these big Chevrolet SUVs coming past, which sort of antagonises the FBI in this case, because of the song that's playing in the background and how dark and sort of, well, Gotham-like black there is surrounding the area. So we kind of assume that these guys are the bad guys, and this sort of moves on. We see this woman get out of the car, and I think she was in Batman vs Superman, but I can't remember because that was also a bad film. Yeah, we see some like t-shirts and that for sale, as she's saying that once Superman came to this world, we were all happy, and then he left and we were all sad. And as he says, as she says, we were all sad, he flips the t-shirt around and it says "Remember" on it. So it's showing that sort of the world's gone to, well, it's ruined now just because Superman has died or left or whatever. Yeah, there's Batman merchandise as well, like next to the Superman, but in sort of a lower quantity, showing that he's not sort of as big as Superman. Like, he was their one true saviour and Batman wasn't. And then I'm not really sure the relevance of it, because I can't remember what she says at this point, but it switches to be a soldier's funeral, or some form of big funeral. There's a lot of people, it's in Washington, they raise the American flag over this coffin, and there's all these people with like makeshift candlestick holders. So we can roughly assume that from this, someone important has died, because you've got such a mass gathering for, well, you wouldn't for an insignificant person. So yeah, and then Suicide Squad flashed up in the same sort of hallucinogenic colour, sort of comic book style that the flashback for Harley Quinn was in. Yeah, I did it without properly waffling that time. Remember to record a thanks for watching and goodbye, so that was it, bye.